chair and the ranking member have no second round questions. I'm told by Senator Kelly that he would like to ask a second question.
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, so $1.5 trillion, 1.5 is a very round number. You know, if you're putting together a budget, you'd come up with, these are the problems we're trying to solve. This is the capability we need. These are the systems we have to buy. And at the end of the day, it would spit out a number, and it's probably not 1.5 trillion. So to me, it feels like that number was just kind of pulled out of thin air. I took a look recently, and it seems that the defense budget of the rest of the world, I'm talking China, Russia, India, every Asian country, every European country, South America, everybody else is in the neighborhood, it looked like 1.7 to 1.8. So your request is approaching all defense spending from everybody else with the exception of us. That is a huge amount of money. You know, when I got here, you know, just 5 years ago, it was almost half of that. Through budget reconciliation, you've received a bunch of money to buy things, some of the weapon systems, you know, to resupply what we need. I'm just trying to understand, you know, like, where is all this money going to go? And if you've figured out ahead of time, what do you want to spend this on? And by the way, there are systems the president wants. You know, he saw last summer how effective Iron Dome and David's Sling were. And because of that, the president decided we're going to build our own version. We're going to call it Golden Dome because the president likes the color gold. We've seen that, see it in the Oval Office. We're going to call it Golden Dome, and it might cost somewhere between $500 billion and $1 trillion. I've heard those estimates. By the way, on that problem, I know a little bit about intercepting stuff in space. It's really hard. And the physics on this favors the offense. There's some things in that program that I think is really important that we do and try to figure it out. But space-based interceptors to hit multiple targets, and by the way, it's important how you size the system. So I'm trying to understand, Mr. Secretary, what kind of detail did you guys, did you work out like a detailed plan, and at the end of the day it came out, oh, it just happens to come out to be $1.5 trillion?
Senator, the exact amount is actually $1.535 trillion, and it was a product of a highly rigorous process throughout our department, from COCOM commanders to the services, with our comptroller, with our deputy secretary, with the chairman and myself, to ensure the budget reflects the realities of the world we live in and the capabilities we're going to need. And that's why there's $65 billion for shipbuilding, $120 billion for the defense industrial base, $331 billion for munitions, $44 billion for quality of life, $71 billion on our nuclear DIB. You name it, we're investing in it. And the biggest reason for it is the underinvestment of the Biden administration. I mean, what they spent on defense, the continuing resolutions and others, undercut the buildup that President Trump had created. So yes, we're doing a lot of deferred maintenance here around the world and in our department, and this budget reflects it, and it's a commitment, a generational commitment to the security of the American people. And if the rest of the world won't spend on their defense, that's their fault. The American Department of War will invest properly to defend the American people, and that's what this budget stands for.
I've always been supportive of defense spending in my entire time here. And after 25 years in the Navy, I want to make sure our folks have what they need. I think you should go back and take a look and see if there are places where we are making investments that we actually don't need. There are some systems out there. I mean, we're constantly looking and trying to balance, do we want, you know, F-47, which I've been supportive of, B-21, also supportive. And then we want to make all these other investments in really inexpensive, low-cost munitions, because we suddenly realize that the expensive stuff, even through B-21, we can't really maybe not get close enough. But the whole idea behind B-21 and F-47 is we can penetrate further into the A2AD bubble. So there's some conflict there. So I'm just encouraging you to go back and see, you know, if there are some systems where we can bring that number the overall number down. Because as I look at what the department is trying to field, some of this stuff, in my judgment, and, I know others might have another opinion, some of this stuff we either don't need or it's not going to work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kelly, your time has expired. Let me just say, you have a great deal of expertise in the area of space, and we do look forward to your contribution as we mark up further legislation.